so somebody told me if I'm not making use of this platform, I'm a fucking fool. And I might as well be one of the fools. Who the hell cares? I'm not much into social media, but there is one thing that's been bugging me ever since I started my fourth year. Or let's just say I just jumped in the middle of my fourth year because start is where you're starting and you have like ample amount of time to read, get into things, then go out into the hospital and apply your knowledge or whatever. Except we haven't had the time. We just joined our college for fourth year and people are like, oh, perfect time for your exams. We finished internals, then they're like, oh no, time for your prelims. Then we finished that, they're like, no, time for your finals. It's like, if you tell university to prepone something, they're very happy to. It's like torture methods 101. I was just kidding about that. Don't take me very seriously. But if you tell your university to postpone something, no, that ain't happening, dog. That ain't happening. Like rumors were 25th March. Okay, whoever spread that rumor, please raise your hand, or please give a shout out. Anyway, so now it's 3rd March. It's earlier than any fucking body else, and the reasons are, oh, your internship won't finish, you are not able to qualify for NEET, all that blah blah shit. And I'm like, I'm not qualified to be finishing my fourth year. What the fuck are you talking about NEET? And let me just give one example of this. So, pandemic happened. I hope it was not a myth, not a conspiracy theory where pandemic is happening or I'm living in some alternate reality where it's not, but mostly it is happening. So, we were at home for 1 year, more than 1 year, at least for me. And we were not able to come out of it till we had the vaccines, which was pretty fast. Vaccine development is no joke. So yeah, if anybody had complaints about it, please just read up on history of vaccines. Anyway, so here we are in pandemic, and my whole 3rd year just went away, staying at home, doing something I'm not really supposed to be doing in 3rd year, but pandemic is tough, man. And everybody's struggling with the pandemic, okay? It's not just uh, people outside, people inside are struggling as well because they're affected by what's going on outside. You have to work from home, you have to take care of home, you have to work at home, do everything for home, and also do your office shit. And like, your parents are also at the age where they can't take the whole responsibility. You have to be there for them, help them out in stuff, or it's going to collapse entirely if you leave them to it. I know my professors expect me to know everything by this point. My juniors are studying the subjects that I'm studying for the first time, and I'm giving my final exams. Wild, isn't it? So, the thing is, I didn't study at home, I'm gonna admit. Pandemic stories are all wild. From people who have been able to complete everything during pandemic to people like me who barely managed to study one topic per day, and that one topic was like, oh my god, I've done a lot. And that's combined with everything else you have to do. Your home is not same as other people's home, and like mental health can go die in hell. Indians don't care about mental health. Anyway, so what happened was I was at home, I have to help people and shit, and home is like, my home pristine, clean, everything is well maintained, but it comes at a lot of cost, okay? Because we don't hire servants for it. That's done by us, okay? And I'm not going to get into reasons why, but just go with it. We don't. So it's like, somebody would be like, I'm sitting down to study with my books and stuff, and I'm like using earphones to study so that I don't get disturbed. But the point is, the household people, no offense to them, like, shit needs to be done around the house, it needs to be. So somebody would be like, screaming at the top of their lungs. I don't know if you have had those households or not. They would randomly start screaming so that it makes it into your ears. You're meant to be disturbed. So, I have a habit of taking one earphones out and then studying in case we are having some random emergency or somebody needed to shout or something. So, I'd be sitting with my books and stuff, and then Somebody would be, like randomly like, oh my fucking god, I need this shit to be cleaned. Okay, usually that's my sister. Okay, my mom is not so much, she needs it, but then she will try to do it on her own till lately. So it used to be like that, and then she would also be like, oh my fucking god, I have my meeting at 5 p.m., gotta go by. And since she made this statement that I need something to be cleaned, and it falls on the youngest kid. I'm the youngest kid. I don't know if you have had the youngest kid syndrome in your household or not, but they ain't got no rights. No denial rights. No. I mean, obviously, they would do anything for me. In a way, I'm a spoiled child. I wouldn't deny. But also, it's also like, it goes both ways. You also have to spoil them. So if she said she needs something to be cleaned, but she's not able to do it herself, then you gotta step in and finish that work. Nobody else can. You can't expect your parents. You are not raised in a household where you are like, Mom, go do this for me. I'm not gonna get up. I'm gonna study and be the greatest doctor ever. Because then your mom, and this has happened, okay? Your mom is going to be like, study? Bitch, this house is falling apart and you want to study? And fuck that shit and fuck your degree. That all comes later. Just finish up this business. So yeah, usually to maintain all that peace in the household, you would end up doing what they want you to do. And obviously, when I said about denial rights, it's like, it's a trap question. It's like, so are you going to make that chai, or am I gonna go and get up and have to make it myself? When your elder siblings ask you this question, it's a trap. Alright, I tell you, it's a trap. Why is it a trap? If you have an elder sibling in your house and they have asked you this question and you don't have a younger sibling to pass it on to, you have to always answer in affirmative. It always has to be, yes, I'm going to make the best tea ever, and your headache is gonna just whoosh off. Okay, you can never be like, no, I don't want to make it. You just go and make it, because next thing that's gonna follow is something so horrendous that making that chai is much easier than going through all that ordeal. Trust me, it comes from experience, and it also comes from a lot of fear and respect. You can't deny such basic things at household, and time is limited. Okay, you're doing all this stuff for other people, your day has gone by, you're tired, and then you still push yourself to study. Then it gives you that diya and bati wali feels. I don't know if anyone of you have seen that Indian serial or not, but if you have any idea about it, it's like how a housewife still manages to crack the civil services exam and all that jazz. I used to get that feeling like I'm also doing so much household work, and then I'm also, studying. And people ask me like, your weight has dropped while you were at home, while like we didn't. And it's natural. You're at home, you don't have anything to do, your weight rises. It's nothing to be ashamed of. My weight dropped, and when people ask me like how, I used to be like, what do I tell you? But honestly, it was so much household work. You are so busy all day. You don't have time for anything else. You barely have time for anything else, I tell you. And to keep myself sane, I used to just indulge in few hobbies, few hours a day. That also I had to fight a lot for, because it's like your education versus your hobbies. But you're so tired at that point, you barely can do your hobbies, let alone your education. For education, you need your brain strength to be maximum. Medicine is not a joke, okay? So then it used to be like, yeah, you are studying, but it's not enough. I know it's not enough. I come here, I know it's not enough. It doesn't take, a bunch of practical examinations, and professors' disdainful glares to tell me I don't know anything, because I know I don't know anything. I'm reading the subject for first time in my life. Probably I have not even finished reading it, and I'm still here giving exams. God, that took a lot of willpower to do so. Not that I wanted to show up not knowing anything, but I have no other option. Exams are there, you have to give it, you have to finish your degree and all that jazz. Nobody's gonna care. The system is so inflexible, they are not gonna care. Whether you were in pandemic or whatever, they are still gonna go by their schedule, alright? There is going to be no flexibility allowed to the students. They rather sacrifice the whole batch than to sacrifice other batches. Fair enough, but I feel like there could be better solutions than to just, fast forward this batch and like get rid of them so that we can continue with our usual schedule. No, this solution feels like I'm going to jump off a cliff. No offense to anybody, but it's tough. Talking about this, I'm on verge of tears, trust me. It's been rough for everybody, whether it's mentally, physically, or whatever. And then you expect these students to come back like they have knowledge of everything, go into hospital, and just start treating patients like you do with all your experience and knowledge. Quite unfair. And people are gonna be like, life is unfair. Yeah, life is unfair, sure. You can console people by saying that life is unfair. It's unfair at quite unfortunate moments. But say this only when you are willing to get treated by a doctor who doesn't know shit that they are doing in there. Alright. You can say that for any other kind of college student, but not for doctors. Because if life is unfair for a doctor, especially their academic life is unfair, you're going to become an unfortunate victim of that unfair life. Like, let's prevent that, okay? We all want good doctors who can treat people. Like, doctor to patient ratio is quite disappointing, to be honest. Not enough doctors. And when you're getting doctors, you're not training them well, they don't know shit. I know I don't know shit. I don't want to go in there and just flail my arms around and appear like the dumbest person ever. Nobody wants to do that. We are old enough to know what we know and what we don't know. But we still have to pretend we know things. And then the professors are sitting there like, you give your hesitant answers. I know it's not their job to be happy that we are giving hesitant answers, but then they're like, is it? Are you sure of this answer? And you're like, no, actually, I'm not sure of anything. I just want to walk out of here, finish this practical, and go. It bothered me when exams started. The first exam I gave, it's bothering me till this exam set is gonna get over. Like, the other day I told my sister. So I told my sister that I don't want to, I don't feel like I have even finished my MBBS. Like, I used to think finishing MBBS, you are enlightened with a lot of knowledge, and here I feel like I don't know anything. I don't feel like a doctor. And she was like, well, that's fair. You have not had that kind of training, exposure, and practice with real life situations to feel like that. And it's fair enough. It was because of the pandemic. Some professors don't care about that statistics at all. Pandemic or no pandemic, they used to come here during the pandemic. Obviously, they had to work. They thought everybody did. I'm sorry, I was not one of those people. Because, so many comorbidities at home, and I myself have asthma. So I used to fear getting this COVID before vaccine. It was like, I'm going to die with one lung disease or another. Here I have asthma, and then you worsen it with COVID. Wow, that's going to be such a cocktail of stuff going in your lungs, I guess. So I didn't volunteer per se because it was like, I'm gonna die. I volunteer outside, I'm gonna die at home. I chose to die at home. At least I still made it out alive somehow. I don't know how alive I am inside, but externally I'm still alive. So, yeah. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm doing as an MBBS student. People are gonna be like, the internship is going to fix all that. But internship is also going to be very grueling. Like, mental health doesn't exist here, but I hoped it did. You're suffering so much. Maybe your relatives didn't make it through COVID or whatever. You're suffering so much over there. Then you suffer over here, over your marks, over your lack of knowledge, over professors' disappointment that you don't know shit. Yeah, I don't. I mean, if professors are surprised we don't know shit, I'm not surprised. Why are you so surprised? I'm not going to talk about lectures, okay? Nobody has to take lectures. I'm not talking about anybody spoon feeding. I'm capable of